You know, there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hello, this is Eric Stucke of Dripping Decay, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today on the podcast, I have Portland-based old school grinding death metal maniacs, Dripping Decay, and they will release their new upcoming full-length album entitled Festering Grotesqueries, which will be released on August 18th through Satanik Royalty Records. And the album artwork sees the return of their fashionably putrefied mascot Drippy. Also check out single Abundant Cadaveric Waste. That's out right now. And also Barf Bag featuring Matt Slime. And I welcome to the podcast Eric Stucke of Drippy.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, my man?
I'm doing great.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So how excited are you to have the new album Festering Grotesqueries coming out now? And did the album turn out exactly the way you guys wanted it to?
Well, nothing ever turns out exactly as you expect it to, of course. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. We recorded it back in September last year. We fucking put everything into it that we've ever written and recorded at the time. And I think it came out pretty brutal as shit. I was really happy with how the production came out. Just the fucking nastiness of the guitar tone, the way that they managed to make everything, you know, clear and still sound super tight and filthy at the same time.
I got to know, how did the band approach this new album when you first started working on it?
We had that many songs actually before we even recorded our first demo, so we had actually been playing them for a while. And we just had to pick out our 5 favorite ones for the demo. And then we wrote just a couple more for the album. But yeah, I mean, we rehearsed it at all our live shows. We had a whole full year of playing tons of badass shows to kind of get those songs where we wanted them to be. So yeah, they're definitely super developed and totally nasty songs at this point.
All right, Eric, did the band add anything differently on this album musically than what fans are accustomed to hearing from Dripping Decay, man? Did y'all add anything different at all, maybe?
Well, definitely tighter than ever. And I did a bit of a vocal doubling effect that I kind of got inspired by Carnage and Pungent Stench on the album, just adding a really short delay that kind of gives it a nasty multiplex kind of feel. We didn't have that going on in the demo. But other than that, just more diverse, more dynamic, and better recorded than ever before.
How's the fans' feedback been on the release of these new singles, Abundant Cadaveric Waste and Barf Bag featuring Matt Slime?
He plays in a Pennsylvania band called Coffin Dust. But the response has been great. Everybody finds it as putrefying as we attempted to make it. So that's definitely a major plus. Yeah, a lot of our friends have just been really pumped about this release and sharing the fuck out of it.
What impresses you the most on the feedback that you're seeing, man, from everybody saying, hey, this sounds good, this seems tighter, or you've added this, it sounds better this way? What impresses you the most when you see that coming back from people that's not even heard your music probably?
I'm just impressed that people kind of really get where we're coming from on a lot of places. You know, people are really nailing what we're all about when we're getting, you know, reviews and just the shit that people are saying to each other.
What led the track Barf Bag featuring Matt Slime to be that first song released off this new album, man? What was it about that song that's got to go out first?
Well, for starters, it's kind of got a little bit of everything that we like in the band. You know what I mean? It's got the D beats, the blast beats. It's got some ripping solos, and the lyrics are just totally our style. Like it's all about street trash, basically, like describing tons of scenes from the street trash movie. And Neil actually wrote those, so it was kind of cool having a single with his lyrics and then a single with my lyrics.
I gotta know this though, man. I hear a lot of people talk about death metal and grindcore underground bands and stuff like that. Do you think it's more harder as a death metal band, grindcore band nowadays than say compared to, I don't know, 70s and 80s possibly? Do you think it's more harder now?
It's kind of easier and harder at the same time. It's harder to stand out.
Yeah.
There's so many more bands, but back then, I mean, releases used to be able to sell, 10 times as much. So that's pretty tough on artists when the margins are so low. Used to be able to print a record for 75 cents and then sell it for $10-$20. Now records are at least like $5 each to print.
Back in the day, you had that tape trading, man. It's like, here's a mixtape.
Oh yeah.
The word of mouth and hand delivering and everything, man, it's so simple. And compared to today, it's like, oh my God, if you don't get this is what I'm seeing. And
there's just a lot more physical media sales.
That's true. That is very true. And I'm sick of seeing this though. If you ain't got the numbers, man, it don't stick out, and it kills me. There's so many good bands out there that are really good, and they just don't have good numbers on Facebook or Twitter or Twitch, whatever the fuck that they're on. And it drives me crazy because that's all they see is the numbers. That's
absolutely.
That's not what it should be about. Nothing.
I won't lie. It's nice when the numbers start going up.
Well, that's true. That's true. But that it seems like today's age, man, it's all about the numbers though.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not about the quality. That's the thing. Do you feel the new album had to come out swinging for the band after this pandemic and everything that everybody's been through?
Absolutely. I mean, the pandemic, one good thing is it opened up some areas where it closed off others, you know what I mean? And I felt like it gave a lot of new bands kind of like a place to fill some voids and make their mark. And so I think people are really hungry for it right now. So right now is an important time to go for it more than ever.
You know what, man? I said this to a lot of young bands that was on this podcast. It's an even playing field for everybody. I don't care if you're a national touring band. It's an even playing field for everybody right now.
Yeah, I mean, our first show, we got to headline a show amongst a bunch of friends of ours that we've been playing music with for years that were all in killer bands. And yeah, we've definitely came out with a bang altogether. So now the thing is just keeping that momentum going and building on it.
You take your influences from bands like Repulsion, Terrorizer, Napalm Death, and Carcass. Is it crucial to have that layout from those bands to shape your guys' sound on songs?
I mean, absolutely. Our music wouldn't even exist at all without that. So, I mean, we have very diverse influences, but that core is a very, very strong one. And it comes through in pretty much every song.
What's the nucleus that keeps this group moving right along, creating Dripping Decay's music, man?
I feel like we work really well together. We're all fucking tight musicians that have our shit together. And Neil writes riffs really fast. He's really a riff machine. So that definitely keeps the, new songs coming. And I'm a lyric writing machine too. So that helps.
And you got to have that chemistry, man. Got to have it.
Yeah. I mean, we've got an insanely tight drummer that, anything Neil throws out, he'll get in the studio with it and just turn it into a fucking steamrolling tank of a song.
Was there a track for the album that totally ended up sounding different than what it was intended to when it was first brought to the table? Was there one that kept changing? I know you said you brought some off of the demo, things like that, but was there one that kept changing maybe?
Man, I don't know. I think honestly, Barf Bag really surprised me with how well it came out, Just there was a lot of ideas in all the songs, especially with vocals and vocal layering. Like Chemical Lobotomy was probably the most unproven one that was kind of new. And yeah, we got to experiment with a lot of new ideas on that one.
I know these are your babies. I totally get it. But are there any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on this new album?
Ooh, man, that's tough. I mean, they're all pretty special. But yeah, I guess Abundant Cadaveric Waste and Chemical Lobotomy, I feel like you can listen to those, and even though they got those influences, you wouldn't think any other band would write that song.
Yeah.
So
any songs that didn't make this album we can see on another album, EP, or just a standalone single down the road, possibly from you all?
Well, we went and finished up about 5 songs within the 6 months to a year after we recorded that album. So we actually have a new EP coming out, hopefully by the end of the year, beginning of next year, Ripping Remains. And that's almost like it's like a bit of a spillover from the album. So Ripping Remains kind of makes sense,
Yeah. Okay, so what about during the pandemic? You guys had the downtime. I know you was working on stuff, but was there anything that was just left in the can from that? And will it ever see the light of day possibly? Because I know everybody's mind's at a different time right now.
Yeah, well, actually, if anything, the album was kind of like an exercising of the demons, like getting it all out, like we really put it all out there with the album, like everything we'd ever written. And but then, right after that, we started writing again. And so, we've now had like a full year since recording the album to get to where we're at right now.
Is the track listing placement important for your album or your EP releases, or does it matter?
It definitely matters. We went back and forth about a few parts of it quite a lot. It matters how you present your album, like the flow of the album. You have certain songs you feel like are really strong that you want to put even in middle parts of the album to make sure that it, keeps momentum the whole way through.
All right, Eric, is it a collaborative effort, or does just one person usually take that writing lead for this?
Well, as I mentioned before, Neil will just straight up write a whole song on guitar, and then he brings it to Jason. Jason puts his drumming touch on it, which is usually totally unique. Always has fun surprises, and then Jackson and I get to work on the bass and the lyrics and vocals, and we each kind of make it our own.
What's the growth musically you've seen from yourselves working on this album versus the 2021 demo, watching you rot, that impresses you the most, if anything?
Well, I mean, I think we were pretty damn tight then too, but for the most part, we're tighter than ever. And I think vocally, like, I've had a lot of different experience over the last 2 years to expand my range more than ever. Just go lower than before, higher than before, more crazy. I guess I feel like I find with every single recording of ours, I push myself to new limits.
Tony K. Haitama did the album artwork for the album. He brought back the mascot for you guys. How was working with him? Did he get exactly what you all were looking for? And why had the mascot back for you all?
Most definitely. I mean, Neil actually originally drew, I don't know if you ever were able to see the tape version of our demo, but Neil drew the original Drippy, and then he actually found a pre-done drawing of Tony's on his website that kind of reminded us a lot of Neil's, and so we bought that one for the demo, and then we hired him full on to create a brand new piece for the album.
We're going to throw out Dripping Decay out the window for just a few minutes, and we're just going to focus on you, my friend, on your personal stuff.
Sure.
If you could write an album equivalent to your favorite band's album, which album would that be? What album would you say I like to have wrote an album just like that?
Ooh, man, that's a really tough one.
That's a hot seater, as I call them.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Blood, Impulse to Destroy, or Incubus, Serpent Temptation.
What's been your most memorable show that the band has been a part of that you still cannot believe to this day that you guys was on that?
Well, I have to say we did this fest up in Seattle called Disemboweled God Fest. And even though it was essentially in a giant glorified garage, it was a pretty epic fest of some really sick bands that I love playing with, Torture Rack and Hemorrhoid and Decaying Crypt. And man, it was just a really packed venue, and a lot of my favorite friends from around the Pacific Northwest. And I just felt proud to have us on the stage, and we definitely got in people's faces and made it more nasty than ever. So it really worked out.
I know you guys are a death metal band. I understand that completely, but there's bands that influenced you when you were younger, pulled you out of a dark place and influenced you in everything. Now you guys are on that hot seat, man. what's your reaction when you have somebody say, you know, this song helped me through whatever, or it gives me inspiration, or it fuels my day? What does that mean to you?
My reaction is I am extremely happy when I hear something like that, because what I want more than anything for music is for it to be transformative and live beyond myself. You know what I mean? Not just be a subjective thing like, oh man, my friend wrote a song, it's pretty good. Like I want it to really like affect someone and kind of become an entity of its own. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the value of creating art, is you create something that lives beyond yourself.
And this is the number one thing I say. It makes people feel like they have a friend, like they're not an outcast. And I said this many times, people, you're not outcasts. You're not outcasts at all. People are just jealous because they're not like you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you listen to the right music, there's just a certain understanding. You're like, oh, wow, me and this person get it in some way. There's some connection between you and that person you've never met.
That's exactly right, my friend. The beauty of music, every flavor that's out there, I don't care if it's country, bluegrass, rap, rock, whatever. If it fuels your fire and helps you out, hey, more power to you. You know, do it. All right, folks, Dripping Decay will release their new upcoming full-length album, Festering Grotesqueries, which will be released on August 18th through Satanik Royalty Records. And you want to get out and check that out. So, my good friend Eric, how can folks stay in touch with Dripping Decay? Buy this album, singles, everything under the name of Dripping Decay. How can you do that, sir?
Check out our Facebook page and our Instagram page, and definitely go to our Bandcamp. Our Bandcamp is where you can pretty much interact with all of our stuff, listen to all our music, buy all our shit.
And before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show, sir?
Sure thing. Hello, this is Eric Stucke of Dripping Decay, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please go out, check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and YouTube link. And please subscribe to that YouTube link if you like what I'm doing, because I would truly appreciate it. Check out Dripping Decay, their new album, Festering Grotesqueries, which will be released on August 18th through Satanik Royalty Records. Go pick it up. And Eric, thank you so much for doing this interview, and I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, my friend.
Likewise.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.